day and welcome to this week's edition of Tourismus Namibia, where once again we bring you a couple of topics and then we turn our attention towards destination ideas. And finally, under to the point today, we've got two items that we want to raise. But first up, obviously, it's topics. I suppose it would be good if I just told you who I am. I'm Frank Steffen, editor of Allgemeine Zeitung, and I'll obviously be leading you through the show. Topics it is, and first of all, we want to concentrate on Namibia winning a bid, and it's quite exciting news. Namibia has been selected to host the prestigious 2024 Africa Hospitality Investment Forum, AHIF. This investment forum, renowned as the premier investment conference in hospitality across Africa, plays a crucial role in driving investment into tourism projects, infrastructure and hospitality development on the continent as a whole. So it's not only Namibia. It gathers the highest caliber of international hotel investors, making it the most influential conference of its kind in Africa. This win is a milestone in Namibia's economic growth and development journey. It obviously signifies recognition of the nation as a significant player in Africa's burgeoning tourism and investment sector. According to the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board, Namibia is well equipped and eager to rise to the occasion. The opportunity to host amplifies the country's commitment to elevating Namibia's hospitality and tourism sector, which contributes up to 14% of the national gross domestic product and employs over 100,000 Namibians. Here's a short video clip of last year's event that took place in Nairobi. Have a look. Right, and that is our big Africa Hospitality Investment Forum. You will remember we the other day reported about the big HUN conference where the whole idea was to get Namibians employed and involved in the tourism industry. I think this might just be adding to that opportunity and possibly just giving a bit of a go and make sure that it's actually realizable. Secondly, we've got the human-wildlife conflict insurance, quite an important thing actually. So Namibia Special Risks Insurance Association, NASRIA, is expanding its special risks insurance services and exploring the human-wildlife insurance scheme through its agricultural insurance scheme. The human-wildlife conflict scheme is going to be a specialized insurance product based on sovereign risk transfer, aimed at transferring human-wildlife conflict risks from the government and promoting coexistence between humans and animals through adequate financial offset, the costs attributed to the conflicts, in other words. So NASRIA is therefore inviting interested and experienced actuarial consultants, experts or firms to apply for the development and design of a human-wildlife conflict insurance product. Now, this is quite important as far as I'm concerned. NASRIA is, it's actually an insurance that came to be all about political upheaval and that sort of insurance. And it's not something that you do voluntarily. Everybody has to have it. And this fund has been accumulating funds, and all too often people have been asking, but what will ultimately happen with this money? It's billions of dollars that are lying there accumulating interest, and there's no real use for it because good for us all, we don't have political unrest, and hopefully it will remain that way. But in the meantime, the idea is obviously to see what we can do to positively invest that money. And I would think that the human-wildlife conflict issue, which always catches the MEFT, that's the Ministry of Environment and Tourism, catches them off guard all the time. So this might be a good way of employing some of those funds. Right, and then we've got crocodiles up for sale. This obviously caused a bit of a stir in the past week again. 40 crocodiles up for sale through tender. And Namibia's Environmental Ministry will be selling 40 crocodiles to minimize human-wildlife conflict. So it's all more or less the same item. The crocodiles to be sold are all adults and will not be larger than 3 meters long. So since 2019, the ministry has paid offset amounts of over 2.3 million for losses caused by crocodiles. This includes 575,000 for 195 cases of livestock losses, 140,000 for 14 cases of injuries to people, and over 1.6 million for human lives lost. The northeastern regions of Kavango West, Kavango East, and Zambezi continue to experience concerning crocodile attacks on people and their livestock. According to wildlife credits, an estimated 11,000 crocodiles occur in Namibia's northeastern rivers and floodplains. So the sale of the 40 crocodiles is meant to minimize these incidents as well as to mitigate the impact of crocodile conflicts on communities. So the crocodiles will be sold through a tender, where written financial offers by those interested should be submitted to the ministry by 17th July. And the offers must be submitted to the ministry in sealed envelopes, obviously indicating the price per individual animal and deposited, and the ministries must be deposited at the ministry's headquarters. So that's all about the crocodiles. Once again, I suppose some people will have a problem with it because where do these crocodiles go? How will they be used? How will they settle in and so on? But I once again urge people to just think a bit realistically and understand that at the end of the day, we all need to understand there needs to be a sustainable income in the long term. These people pay huge personal prices and incur losses because of animals. So the least that the community should be able to do is earn some dividends on it. But those are our topics for today. Up next, we've got destinations.
Get real value for your money at WB. Grab 750 gram Ellis Brown creamer for $41.99. Wake up to 250 gram Recoffee for just $39.99. Get 2 kilogram Real Good mixed chicken for $86.99. Stock up with 500 gram Bacomo cornflakes for $32.99. And grab 1 liter Clover New Mel for just $17.99. Now that's real value at WB. We care.
Right, and our first destination this week is Mavinga Lodge. So Mavinga Lodge is located at Ruacana. As you can see here, it's part of the town, right at the banks of the Kunene River, looking over the border to Angola. It features accommodation to suit any budget with a garden. It's got free Wi-Fi and air conditioning and a breathtaking view of the Kunene River. The lodge offers traditional Namibian hospitality while fishing can be enjoyed nearby. Here you can see quite a solid building, and anybody who's been up to Ruacana, it's always nice to go there. Hopefully the Ruacana Falls are then in full flow, but as you can see, quite a nice little setup there. And yeah, my colleague Enzo clearly went up there, as you could see on the photo there. So we've also brought you a video.
My name is Franz Ilonga, well-known energy. I'm an employee at Mavinga Lodge and Campsite. We are located outside of Ruacana in the way to Kunene River. We currently have 4 employees and 2 trainees who are doing their attachment with us in Mavinga Lodge. And we have a bar, a restaurant, and a kitchen, and also a conference hall. And in total, we have 18 rooms, different types of rooms, single room, double room. And when you came here, we expect to see the beautiful view of the Kunene River Lodge because it's just nearby. Since COVID-19 came, our industry was very negatively affected. We are no more receiving guests. Tourists are not coming anymore, which is making it hard for us to make money in the establishment and getting the chance of giving opportunity to get or to give job to our fellow people who are sitting home. But now we are asking people to come join us in Mavinga Lodge and book with us. Contact our lodge to the following contact: 081 40 41 954, 081 40 41 954 Elizabeth. Another contact: 081 844 2138, 081 844 2138 Dolly. Thank you guys. We are expecting you to come visit us and do industry activity with us, especially at Mavinga camping site. I thank you.
Right, and that was Mavinga Lodge. And then the second item that we've got today is Duwisib Castle, which is obviously in the south of Namibia, quite far down as you go past the Naukluft. There you've got the Duwisib guest farm, and in front of that the castle, right next to a road, to a main road that is. And so Duwisib Castle is one of the most historic properties of Namibian wildlife resorts. That's NWR, as you can see here. It is in the southeast of Namibia, perfect stopover between Fish River Canyon and the Namibia Desert, and it offers accommodation and camping sites on the same property. Now, I've been there on a number of occasions, and they've spruced up the place, so I'm glad to see. Sad to see that at Independence there must have been a couple of guys with long fingers, because a lot of the stuff that was in the castle disappeared, and there's a whole load of finger pointing who is responsible, but bottom line is the stuff is gone. Yet there is still much that is left, so it's still worth going to Duwisib Castle. Have a look at the video.
Replete with history and romance, Duwisib Castle is the perfect stopover for visitors en route to the south of Namibia. It was built by the German army officer Baron von Wolf for his American bride Jaita in the early 1900s. Apart from being a gift of love, Duwisib was a dream turned into reality for the Baron, who had planned on breeding horses in the semi-desert environment.
Okay, so these two was the owners of the castle house, Heinz von Wolf and Jaita von Wolf. The lady was American, and the guy was a German guy. So the lady is the one, he owns the money from his grandfather, and she was a little junior already at that time, and she decides she wants a castle house in one of the African countries, but the guy was not very well along.
Sadly, the Baron was killed during the First World War. His wife left for America, never to return, leaving the castle and all of its contents and dreams behind. Eminent architect Wilhelm Zander was commissioned to design the building, and construction began in 1908. It was hoped that the castle would bear a resemblance to some of the existing German forts in Namibia, including Schwerinsburg, Zanderburg, Heinetzberg, and the Tintenpalast located in Windhoek. Red sandstone was obtained locally, but most materials like iron, wood, cement, and the lamps were imported from Germany, first by sea from the port of Ludwitz, then hauled 300 kilometers from the coast and 400 kilometers south of the capital in Windhoek on wagons drawn by 24 oxen through the Namib Desert. Artisans were hired from around Europe, including bricklayers from Italy and carpenters from Sweden and Ireland. The castle has a knight's hall, a gallery, dining rooms, and the private rooms of the von Wolfs were the original furniture. They collected furniture popular at the time. Without a doubt, guests loved the stunning paintings, copperplate engravings, photographs, and ornamental weapons on display. The state bought the property and the castle in 1978, and in 1991 the castle was renovated and declared a national monument. Some furnished rooms that comply with the former time can still be viewed, although sadly some other areas of the castle are in poor shape. The castle is currently managed by Namibia Wildlife Resorts, but is not open for overnight guests at the moment. However, adjacent to the castle is Duwisib Guest Farm, which is an ideal stopover on your way to Sossusvlei, Lidorit, or the Fish River Canyon. Here you will find true Namibian hospitality and an atmosphere of friendly familiarity. This small family business consists of 8 guest rooms, 1 standalone bungalow, and 5 campsites. The pool, situated close to the reception area, offers great views of the surrounding mountains and is also a great spot to enjoy a lovely sundowner.
Right, and that's Duwisib Castle for you. And those were our 2 destinations this week. Mavinga Lodge up in the north, right on the top, and then far down Duwisib Castle. Up next, we've got To The Point. Right, and under To The Point, as said earlier, we've got 2 points today. The one is traveling Africa, and our NMH journalist Yolanda Nell talks to a group of travelers called Tuk-Tuks, Ivo and Jasper Horsi, who embarked on a journey to travel in Tuk-Tuks, embracing the African roads. Have a look.
So where are you currently?
We're actually in Cape Town. Half of us have been in Cape Town. Only one tuk-tuk has made it to Cape Town so far, because one blew its cylinder head on the way. We had this festival that we were going to finish off the trip called Africa Burn in the Karoo Desert. And it turns out 23,000 kilometers is exactly how far you can push a tuk-tuk on the Africa's worst roads before it decides to give up completely. So it's been in hospital for the last, month and a bit. Yeah, it's literally been having open heart surgery. It was completely destroyed.
Oh, shame.
But it started yesterday, which is good news. So soon both of them will be here, but we still haven't reached Cape Town yet. So, and that was the mission.
So quickly tell us what prompted you to do this, to travel the world, and then to do this in tuk-tuks?
What prompted us to do it? Well, to be fair, this was a birth child of COVID. Everybody knows COVID, big, bad, scary disease thing that messed around with everyone's lives for 2 years. Well, the one positive to come out of it, definitely in our lives, was this. We were the whole team was spread around the world doing different things, going in different directions. I myself was at university at the time, so was Robbie. I was studying to be a marine biologist. I was moving to Western Australia to go study dolphins. I was a sculptor, and I was about to move to Canada, and I wanted to drive to Patagonia from Canada in a van, but now we're just doing it in a tuk-tuk instead, and it's just taken a couple more years to get there.
Why Africa?
Well, even though we don't sound it, we're actually African. Myself, my brother, and Robbie, so 3 out of the 4 members of the team, we were all born and raised in Kenya. So we're all Kenyan citizens. So it's home to us. And we hadn't really explored. We've done a lot of exploring through East Africa, a lot in Kenya. We've all got the sort of bug that you need to poke your nose in every nook and cranny of a country. And so, we decided Africa was easy because we could leave from home. Our local town sells tuk-tuks. We bang them together in our shed, in our workshop at home. And so it was the next step was either Cairo or Cape Town. And Cape Town sounded more fun, to be honest. But the tuk-tuk idea came from, we were all dragged back to Kenya. And then we just started the British component of our team, the 4th member, he'd been, during COVID, got locked down on this island he was working on in Indonesia. And it's sort of 500-meter across island. He was locked there for a year. And so he had to find ways to sort of entertain himself whilst on the island. So he started filming his sort of day-to-day routines and just any sort of anything you fancied on a day-to-day basis. And then anyway, he ended up going home. But Britain was a terrible place to be during COVID. I mean, some real draconian laws. You couldn't go out or anything. And I was like, and obviously the video making stops. There's nothing really interesting to film if you're stuck inside the whole time. So I called him up. He's actually my friend from university. I called him up, said, come to Kenya. Kenya is a little more lax on the COVID front. Let's start videoing our adventures. We're doing a lot of fishing, a lot of just safaris up into the bush. And then we started doing that. And then we started to see the impact COVID was having on these places that we were cruising in. Like the wildlife rangers' workload has sort of gone through the roof, despite their pay having decreased. Yeah, because like illegal logging, poaching, bush meat, everything was on the up. So we're like, well, we maybe can use this video storytelling through TikTok and Instagram as a way of spotlighting because everyone was viewing COVID through the humanitarian lens. So we're like, the conservation angle hasn't really been covered. And it'd be quite cool to sort of spotlight the work of these rangers and what they're going through, but also raise money for them, choose the most ridiculous vehicle possible, and drive to Cape Town in it. And to be honest, the vehicle came about because we were starting to make that documentary on COVID and conservation, and we realized sort of that it was never going to be easy for us. I mean, it was right at the rise of woke politics, and we were 4 white dudes trying to make a documentary on Africa.
We offer a variety of different landscapes, but what were some of your highlights?
Spitz copy, definitely. Me, Skeleton Coast. Far north Skeleton Coast, like up. We managed to get into a concession north of Merva Bay, and that was the most beautiful place in the world. It was mind-blowing, just mind-blowing. You could find just ships, aeroplanes, broken whales, just a tractor that's been melted by the wind, like lions up there. It was break your mind. I loved it, and I loved the fact that you could walk along the beach and you could pick up. Like we as children, I think all children like picking up loot off the beach, and it's usually like a plastic toothbrush or something that's bobbed around in the ocean, but it's blue, and so therefore you like it and it's yours. In the Skeleton Coast, you see bottles there, glass bottles that are perfectly smoothed by the wind on one side and perfectly new underneath, which shows that not a single human being has picked that up just out of curiosity. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, stuff there that hasn't been touched for 30, 40, 50 years by a human. That's rare to find in this world.
Guys, thank you so much for your time and taking the time to talk to me. This has been fantastic. I think if there's anything else you would like to add.
Actually, we'll add one more thing. The whole reason that we actually did this trip as well, if there are any readers at home that would find this interesting, was to try and raise awareness and money for wildlife rangers. We said that we were making that documentary. COVID kind of disappeared when the Ukraine war started. Suspicious, but we won't get into that. We were doing this to raise money and awareness for the work that wildlife rangers do in Africa, unseen behind this. But I mean, like, people visit Etosha, they don't understand that there's men and women in camouflage in those bushes, making sure that that rhino that you see is still alive. Like, we filmed for a couple of anti-poaching units in Namibia itself. We'll be releasing that footage in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, if anyone is feeling like they want to buy a ranger a beer or something like that, we say buy them a beer, the amount of a beer in your local pub. If anybody does want to donate to the tireless work that, African wildlife rangers do throughout our continent, we have a donation page, like a donation link on our Instagram page and website that you can go and click on. It doesn't go to us. It goes to providing boots, training, backpacks, like new socks, a pension scheme. It's just a support system for wildlife rangers in Africa. So if this weekend, I don't know when this will be released, if this weekend you want to buy a beer for a ranger or buy them a pair of boots or anything like that, there's a donation link on our website that goes straight to them. And that is the whole reason we're doing this mission. And we've raised a tiny amount of money.
We're not very
bad at this.
So we need to start selling the rangers.
We need to start selling the rangers a lot more because, without them, we wouldn't have done this. So we're eternally grateful. And also without them, the bush wouldn't be.
The bush doesn't exist.
The caliber of bush that we have experienced, especially in your country. Yeah, next time you see an elephant, next time you see a rhino, it's because of them. Really, it's because of them. So yeah, that would be our closing remark.
Right, tuk-tuk. I could imagine that could be quite a lot of fun as long as you don't stand too often. And then also we just want to point you a bit towards tourists that are disrespecting our national parks. So although the Environment and Tourism Ministry has issued several warnings that tourists should remain inside their vehicles while in national parks, such as Etosha, tourists continue to disrespect the rules. Have a look at these photos and then you see what we mean. People always seem to think that lions aren't smart. They're very smart. They wouldn't even hear them when they come from the back. And so just to confirm what I'm saying, just have a look at this video.
Just watch these idiots, guys. 4 people outside their cars. Sophie and Dale here at Salvador, close to the lions. I just don't give a shit.
Yeah, and I didn't say it, he said it, idiots. Sorry, it's the only word I've got. If people seem to think that animals don't know how to hunt, to them we just pray. But if you don't want to accept it, that's up to you. Anyway, that's the end of our show today. Have a good day still, and I hope you've got a good weekend. And next week, same time, we'll have another edition of Tourismus Namibia. Until then, bye.